guys, welcome back to the channel. So I have a really different video for you today. I'm going to be talking about my 10K subscriber giveaway, and I'm also going to be answering some questions that you guys posed on my community tab here on YouTube. I am so excited to be doing this video for, a multitude of reasons, but if you are interested in seeing what is included in my 10,000 subscriber giveaway and also get to know me a little bit, then just keep on watching. So it was just this past Saturday, I woke up in the morning, I logged onto my computer, and I noticed that I had hit 10,000 subscribers here on this channel, and I was so excited. When I reached like over 9,000 subscribers, I was like, what? Like, I couldn't believe it, and I thought, oh my god, if I hit 10K, I have to do a huge giveaway. This is so exciting. It's a milestone that I want to celebrate. I will use any excuse to celebrate. So anyway, I just want to thank you guys. I think, like most YouTubers, you just start because you just kind of want to talk about what you love, or you just want to share information, or you just want to share things, and never ever do you think, it's gonna catch on or people are actually gonna watch you. At least that's how I feel, and to hit 10,000, which I know is not a big deal on YouTube. It's a big deal to me because, again, I just come on here to basically have fun and just to kind of chit chat about makeup, which I love. So anyway, the giveaway. So there's going to be a link down in the description box. That's how you enter. You have to put your information in, like your first name, your last name, obviously, and your email address. That's the address I'm going to contact you at if you win. So make sure that that is entered in correctly. There's also some like terms and conditions and rules and things like that. It's open internationally, so everyone go ahead and enter, and all you have to do is subscribe to this channel. So just follow that link in the description box. It will also tell you exactly what is in the giveaway, which I'm going to go over now. I posted a picture onto Instagram, but it's just a picture of all these boxes because I didn't want to open anything. So I thought maybe that wasn't too clear. So I just thought I would quickly run through what is included in the giveaway, because it basically is comprised of all the things that I have been loving lately, and also some other things that maybe I got in my lucky bag, my Beautylish lucky bag, that I know I'm not going to use, or that I got in PR that I want to share with you guys. So anyway, let's talk about what's in this giveaway. The first thing is the Natasha Denona Diamond and Blush palette. So I decided to get Citrus for you guys. I felt like Daria is probably the one palette that everyone picked. It was the safer one. So I was like, let's give away Citrus. It's got that great bright yellow in there. So that is included. I also, of course, had to include a Pat McGrath item because you know how much I love her. So the Pat McGrath Mothership 4 Decadence eyeshadow palette is also included. This is the one that is limited edition. This is her latest one. I absolutely love it, so I thought I had to share this with you guys. And then some old-time favorites here. I have two lip sleeks from Surratt Beauty in Club Sept and Nude de Soleil. My favorites. Absolute favorites, so I wanted to include those for you as well. And a recent favorite of mine, this is the Tom Ford Private Eyeshadow in Warm Leatherette. This is in the vinyl finish, so this is in the giveaway as well. Love this one, love it. Another thing that has been like, this is just taken over, absolutely just taken over, but this is the Sisley Sun Glow Bronzing Gel Powder. You guys, I think, have heard me just kind of drool whenever I talk about this bronzer. Just love it, so I had to include it in here as well. Some Victoria Beckham Estee Lauder stuff. You guys know the stuff that I like from that collection, I love. So we've got the eye foil in Blonde Gold. That's the one that comes in the little pot. The highlighter in Modern Mercury, which is one of my all-time favorite highlighters. I absolutely love it, so that is included. The Victoria Beckham bronzer in Saffron Sun. And then we've got two Jouer highlighters. This is what I got in my Beautylish lucky bag. I kept one. I can't remember what it's even called now at this point. But we've got Ice and Rose Gold included in this giveaway. The Charlotte Tilbury Hollywood lips in Charlotte Darling, another thing that I got in my lucky bag. Smith & Colt nail polish. This was also something that was in my Beautylish lucky bag. I figured I would, include it in here because this is something I'm definitely not going to use myself. Oh, and this is one of my favorite lip balms. This is from Emile Cordon. This is the Cashmere On Lip Pot, and in Cocoa, number 72. These are the ones that come in those beautiful jars with the gold top. These are great lip balms. And then last but not least, two things from M Cosmetics. So they sent me a PR package, And I kept a whole bunch of stuff, but I thought I would include one of their Infinite Lip Clouds in Muted Mauve, gorgeous, and their liquid eyeliner with the brush tip. So that's everything that's included in the giveaway. Again, the link is down below in the description box for you to enter. Good luck to everyone. It's open internationally. I hope these products are to your liking. Again, I really try to include like my favorites, like stuff that I really enjoy. I really wanted to share with you guys. So thank you so much again for supporting this channel. I think I think it's amazing. I just can't believe it. So I thought what I would also do in this episode is kind of do like a get to know me thing. So I posted, you know, basically like asking you guys to send in your questions for me, anything, you know, personal, beauty related, work related, health, whatever it is. And I got a bunch of questions. I was really nervous that like no one would write in any questions, that people would just be like, whatever, bitch, just upload some videos. But you guys actually posted some questions, so thank you very much. So let's start. I'm just reading off of my phone, that's why I'm looking down. First question from Kimberly Lewis. Hi, Kimberly. I'm a new subscriber, so I'm curious about you, in all caps. Are you married? Do you have children? Do you work a normal job? What kind of work do you do, etc.? So life story type questions. I did realize that I really don't talk about my personal life when I film videos. I really just sort of get to whatever it is that I'm getting to, because I know time is precious. But anyway, I am married. I've been married for... My husband always gets upset because I can never remember what year we got married. I think we got married in 2007. So this year we'll have been married for 11 years, but we've been together for 22 years this year. I don't have any children. I do work a quote-unquote normal job, so I work from home. I work full-time for a yarn company. So I'm a hand knitwear designer. Basically what that means is I design knitwear, but it's for hand knitters, so people who actually knit. And you know, people always ask, well, can I buy your stuff? Like, what does that mean? Basically, like if you were a knitter and you walked into a yarn store and you picked up yarn and you bought your needles and you're like, well, I want to know what to make out of this, and you went and you bought a pattern of like a sweater or something, I'm the person that wrote that pattern. I'm the person that designed that sweater and wrote that pattern for you to make. So that's what I do. So when I say normal job, it's a normal job. I mean, it's something that people do. It's a pretty large industry, but it's so not normal. Like whenever I tell anyone I do that, they're like, say that again? All right, question number 2. So pleased to have discovered your channel. Thank you so much. This is Subin. I believe I'm pronouncing that correctly. Subin. Funny thing is, I knew you as a famous knitting designer. I'm a knitter too. Yay! I didn't realize for a long time that you were the Michele Wang. I'd love to know more about your background, what you do for a living. That's what I do for a living. And your typical day looks like, and I'd love to see your dog more. Well, I would love to bring my dog in more, but she's still a puppy, so she's just antsy. So, you know, whenever I try and pick her up, she's just like, ah, and then, you know, and then I'll just put her down and continue filming, and then she's like all over. And if I drop something, she's on it. So anyway, I will try and get her on camera a little bit more. But you know how puppies are. My background. I don't know how far back you want me to go. I was born in New Jersey. I'm Chinese. I'm first generation Chinese. My parents immigrated here. I went to NYU, so I moved to New York City and began living there when I was 17. And yeah, I went to NYU for business. I majored in finance and marketing. I minored in art history, basically. I've always been interested in fine arts, and it's actually what I wanted to go to school for, but my parents were like, no, we're not paying for that. Like, we did not come here from China for you to like draw. That was their thinking, which, you know, I understood. So anyway, I ended up going to NYU for business, but I always had it in my mind that I wanted to either be an illustrator. I really liked, this is kind of odd, but I really liked anatomical illustration. I used to open up Grey's Anatomy and draw body parts. I really liked doing that, and I also really loved fashion design and fashion illustration. And so I had it in my head that when I graduated from NYU, you know, and I did what my parents wanted me to do, and that was like the practical thing, that I would, you know, get a job doing what I could and go back to school at night at Parsons and, you know, start my own career from there. But it was tough. You know, it was tough. You know, you're in New York City, you're not making a lot of money. You have very little time and you're young. Like I just wanted to go out and have fun. So I did that for a little while. I probably spent 2 or 3 years just taking 1 or 2 night classes at Parsons in fashion design. Did that and then finally was like, you know, this is this is too much. Like I just want to like make money. I just want to be able to make my rent and my groceries and my Metro card, my tokens, and be okay. So I ended up going into computers. So I started working in information technology at that point, and kind of did that for the longest time. I jumped around. It's obviously a huge industry. So I did, you know, networking for a while, and then I moved into training and support and stuff like that. And I just sort of jumped around, and I ended up in training, and then I was kind of slowly moving into like project management type work. And at that point, I had started knitting. Anyway, that's sort of a whole long story, but I ended up leaving the corporate America to do knitwear design freelance. So yeah, so that's basically my work background. I hope that was what you meant by background. Oh, what your typical day looks like. Well, I'm an early riser, so I wake up between 4 and 5 in the morning every day, and now, at this point, I feed the dog, I make myself coffee, and I pretty much start working. So I'm either going to sit down and film a YouTube video, or I'm going to start working, actually doing my job. It kind of depends. They're East Coast time, so they're 3 hours ahead of me. So by the time I kind of gear up, it's like 8 a.m. over there, and sometimes they're going. Sometimes I'm getting texts from them or whatever, and if that's the case, then I just start working, and then I'll film like later in the day, like later in the afternoon or after dinner or whatever. But yeah, that is pretty much my day. I just sit in this room and I'm either working on my knitwear design or I am filming for you guys or editing. Actually, editing the videos takes a lot longer than the actual filming. So that's what a typical day of mine looks like. Very unexciting. Next question. You seem to have a pretty extensive collection. How do you choose what to use during the week? Do you choose your products daily or set aside a group of products to use for a certain time period? So I choose my products daily. I think it's a luxury because I do work from home, that, you know, my day is what I make of it. So, you know, again, like my coworkers are on East Coast time, so 9 o'clock here is about lunchtime there, and I always feel like there's a little bit of a lull there, and that's usually when I'll sit down and kind of play with makeup. So I like to go through my collection, which is pretty extensive for the average person. So I do like to go through my collection and kind of pretend like I'm shopping and kind of go through and I haven't used this in a while, or, you know, this foundation, I've been using this for a while. It's like my go-to for the moment or whatever. So I just kind of pick everything every day. I don't wear makeup every day. I'm still that person. I still feel much more comfortable with no makeup on versus having makeup on. So if I need to run out and do errands and go grocery shopping or whatever, and I have been playing with makeup and I have like a full face of makeup on, I will probably wash my face. I know, that seems weird, but yeah, that's what I'll do. Next question. Hi, I love watching your channel because you feature everything in high-end brands. They are beautiful makeup and are expensive. So my question is, how do you decide on what to purchase or budget without having to spend all your hard-earned money? So I decide, I'm a very decisive person, I should say. I'm not a very indecisive person. And I kind of just try and stick with certain brands, which you'll probably notice. So there's some brands that I can't even go there. Like if I open up that door, it's going to be like crazy time. So I'll just kind of stick to brands, and every once in a while, like, you know, I'll try like a brand. I'll get like a whole full face of something. Like I just did that. I think the last brand I did that with is Chantecaille, and now they're one of my favorites. So, you know, it's like that grows, and I'm sure another brand has kind of fallen to the wayside because I've, you know, let them in. So that's one way that I kind of decide on what I'm going to purchase. I stick with certain brands. Budget, I pay all my bills, I put money into savings, and I use my debit card. So I feel like as long as I've paid all my bills and I've put what I want to save away for that month, all that extra is just extra. It's just whatever I want to spend it on. And some months, lately especially, some months it's makeup, some months it's like filming equipment, some months it's clothing, shoes, or whatever. So I tend to just sort of take care of business first, and then anything that's left over is like free game. but it is also really, really different for me because I don't have children. So much of your income goes to your children. I am sure of it. I mean, I'm stating the obvious here. But not only that, with kids come uncertainty. Like, you don't know what's going to pop up during the month. And so I know you probably have to save a lot more to feel comfortable, you know, where I have like a set amount and I put that away or whatever, and I feel fine with it. And very rarely do I have to touch it. You know, it's just sitting there because I don't have a lot of uncertain expenses that pop up. So anyway, so that's how I budget, quote unquote. I mean, it's like not a great, probably not great advice, but that's just what I do. I just feel like if you are able to handle all of your business, save some money, then you should be able to do whatever you want with that extra cash. If you could only use one skincare brand for the rest of your life, which one would it be? For me, it's Longwear. That's definitely my skincare brand. Next question, why do you choose to review mostly high-end products? So I choose to review mostly high-end products because, one, I feel like I'm filling a niche. I don't feel like there's a lot of YouTubers that talk about like the department store brands. I think that there's like high-end brands that Sephora carries, and those are talked about quite a bit. You know, those YouTubers get PR packages and you see Too Faced, Urban Decay, like all those brands covered, extensively covered, every line that comes out or whatever. And then you have drugstore, and that is covered. People talk about, there's tons of channels dedicated to that. But I very rarely see channels that are dedicated to Chanel, Tom Ford, Chantecaille, Sisley, you know, these sorts of brands. So I feel like I'm kind of filling a niche and, you know, and a need. I feel like a review on a $90, $100 product is really valuable. Like, you really want to know about something that's that expensive before you go and you purchase it. So that is one reason. The second reason is, so I'm from New York City. People are going to think this is crazy, but the drugstores in New York City suck. We have, they were bought by Walgreens, but they're Duane Reade, and then there's some CVS. And I think there's a couple Rite Aids. The Rite Aids are terrible. But never, ever did New York City ever get new drugstore makeup releases. Ever. We got the stuff that was sold, that has been sold for like 1,000 years. Like that hot pink and green mascara. I don't even know who that's by. Is that Maybelline or CoverGirl? I'm not sure. That mascara, you'll find that. But you won't find any new releases. And I remember when I first started watching YouTube, and I was like, oh my God, like what is everyone talking about? All this like drugstore stuff. And I remember walking, I was like, maybe I just didn't see it. Walked into my Duane Reade, and there's like, you know, and there's a drugstore on almost every other corner. I would walk into like 10 a day. Never was there a display. And then all of a sudden, right before I moved, they started putting in like funkier brands, like these higher end brands like Vincent Longo and Cargo and Pop, that new drugstore brand. You know, we started seeing that everywhere. But I was like, I still want to check out the new Maybelline that everyone's talking about. Could never ever find it. The only Ulta, I think one has actually opened up in Manhattan. The only Ulta that was open in New York City was in like far out Queens. I think maybe there was one up in the Bronx, but it was very, very difficult. It's very difficult to get good drugstore makeup in New York. So that is another reason. And so I always just shop for makeup at Sephora and at the department stores. You know, you walk into Saks, Barney's, Bergdorf. That was much easier to get makeup at than at your Duane Reade. And so that was what I was used to, and that's what I liked, and yeah, and that's just, you know, that's just my thing. That's just what I like. How does your partner husband feel about your constant makeup purchases? He doesn't care. He really doesn't care. He knows how excited I get when I get packages, no matter where they're from. If they're from Sephora or if they're from Amazon. So if he brings in a package, he's like, Prezi, I've got a Prezi for you. And he's just as excited as I am when I open them up. He's like, what'd you get? And I'll be like, ooh, I got a new highlighter. He's like, I know you like those. He doesn't care. Honestly, I would like to know anything and everything about, what is your job? I answered that. What does your husband do? My husband is in finance. He's a wealth manager at Morgan Stanley, and this is new to him. This is a job that he got here in Vegas. He used to be a trader in New York. Where did I meet him? I met him at NYU. I have one older brother. He's 4 years older than me. He's NYPD. He's a detective in the Bronx. What do I like to eat? I like to eat everything. If you're into food, so I have another Instagram account. It is sort of like my personal knitting Instagram account. It's Mishi2x. It's Mishi 2 times. So it's MISHI 2x. If you want to follow that Instagram, it's mainly food. So every time I go out to eat, which is fairly often, I'll take a picture of what I eat and if it's good, and I'll post it. Do you like to cook? I do like to cook. I actually prefer to bake. So I'm a big baker. What exercise do you do? Currently I go to Orange Theory Fitness. I used to run a lot. I ran in the New York City Marathon in 2005. So I used to run a lot. After the marathon, I did like half marathons or whatever, and then I just really kind of slowed down. I gained weight. It was hard to kind of like get back into the running. I gave myself a stress fracture. It was a whole thing. So I had to take a lot of time off. And then, I've just been, trying to get back into a routine. And actually right before we moved here to Vegas, I joined a gym, and they were full of like these HIIT, which is high intensity interval training, HIIT and like boot camp type classes and TRX classes, those ones with the straps. So I got really into that. And so when I came here, I decided to join Orange Theory Fitness because it incorporates kind of all of that. And I like running, and there's always the treadmill work. And now I really love rowing. So they have a water rower, and then they have a weight wall, which has TRX straps or whatever. So sometimes there's TRX exercises. So I really enjoy Orange Theory Fitness. Do you ever donate makeup? I will. I actually just did my first decluttering, and I'm going to be donating my makeup. I'm trying to find some place local in Vegas that takes makeup. I'm actually looking for a place that takes yarn too, because if you can imagine, I have more yarn than I do makeup. So if any of you out there are from Vegas and you know of a place to donate, like locally, please let me know. Question number 1, can you discuss the positive and negatives of living in New York? I feel like I need to make like a chatty get ready with me about living in New York, because all the positives are the negatives. Like the subway, it's awesome. You don't need a car, you can get anywhere, it's 24 hours a day, it's really not that expensive compared to other cities. But if you talk to any New Yorker about the subway, it's like, the fucking subway. It's like, it's a pit of despair, but it'll get you around. It's cramped, like heavily overpopulated, but that's also what makes it great. The people, the energy, the vibe. It really, on those days when you're like, I just don't feel like doing anything, if you walk outside, you're like, oh my God, like, okay, like I'm on it, I'm going to work, I'm doing this, I'm living life. It's like, it's very, very contagious. Living in New York, you get everything first. You always see like special releases or special events or whatever. It's always in New York, maybe in LA, but always in New York. And that's great. But at the same time, it's like, it's exhausting. It's endless, it's constant. And it's this, like New Yorkers always have this need to be like cutting edge and like, well, we know stuff first. But it's just exhausting. It's also total bullshit. So it's, again, like that's the best part about living in New York, and that's also like the worst because it's the worst. What are some money-saving tips for living in a big city? Don't drink out. Get drunk at home first. Do not take cabs. Just take the subway or take the bus. That will just eat your money up. Walk to work. There were times in my life I could not afford a token, so I would walk to work. Honestly, what will eat up your money is eating out, drinking out, and taking cabs. And all of those things are very, very related, as you can imagine. So, I don't know, kind of cutting back on that. Although that's why you live in a big city. Again, the positive and the negative. Like, that's why you live there. And then it's like, ugh, I can't save any money because I'm going to a new restaurant every weekend. Next question. If you had to choose between Hourglass or Tom Ford, all or nothing, which would you choose? Also, do you speak any languages apart from English? I would choose Tom Ford over Hourglass. I do love Hourglass, but I love Tom Ford. You guys know I love Tom Ford. So I would pick Tom Ford. This is a tricky question because I grew up speaking Chinese, but I don't speak Chinese regularly, and I haven't for a very long time. And in fact, even growing up, my parents would speak to me in Chinese and I would respond to them in English. So I understand Chinese, but I can't speak it very well. It takes me a very, very long time to develop a sentence. So speak a language? Not really. Here's some fun question. What actor and what actress would you love to have coffee with? You can pick 2 that aren't around anymore too, if you like. Do I want to have coffee with? So it's an actor I want to talk to, not make out with. You know who I'd want to it's like I want to talk to him, but I think he's super scary, is Tom Hardy. I think he's nuts. I think he's got to be nuts. But he's one that I would really just want to be like, Tell me about yourself. What actress would I want to talk to? I mean, there's so many that I love, but I think it's going to be a toss-up between Meryl Streep, of course, and Cate Blanchett. Another question, what superpower would you like to have? Oh my god, you know what superpower I want? So this has changed over the years. I think my first answer would have been like to fly. My second answer was to be a shapeshifter. So to like become like a supermodel or become, you know, whatever. I almost said president, but I would not want to be Donald Trump. Now, I think I want telekinesis. I just want to be able to move stuff with my mind. That's how lazy I am. Like, I just want to be sitting on my couch and like think for the remote to come to me. That's the superpower I want, telekinesis. What are your top 3 handbags and why? So I have the Givenchy, oh my god, what is it? The Pandora? It's like the crossbody. It has this weird shape and it has like a hard, like a rolled handle also. So that rolled handle is long enough to go over your shoulder if you want something close to you. It has a crossbody strap, which is how I generally wear my bags. And then you can hold that leather rolled handle, you know, down by your side if you just want to like a tote, like a carry tote. And it's big. I got like the extra large size. I'll flash a picture of it if I can find it. But that handbag I love. I have a Tom Ford. Again, it's another crossbody. That really is my favorite. I have this Tom Ford. It's Python. And it's like a saddlebag with a zipper in the front. Love that bag. It's super handy. It's like the best size. I think my third kind of favorite, most used bag is the Givenchy Nightingale. I have 2. I have one that looks like elephant skin. It's like gray. It's not elephant skin, it's leather. It's gray, but it looks like it's puckered a little bit. And then I have one that's like nylon, but it has these giant rhinestones on the front. And I love those bags. And those are great bags to kind of like hold if I want like a handbag. Those are my 3 go-to handbags. How did you get interested in beauty? So I think it's my background in fine arts and like life drawing and things like that. Like I've always been interested in like the human anatomy, and I've also been interested in art. So it just sort of kind of makes sense. And I love, I mean, one of the things that I love about being an artist are the artist supplies. Like I love pencils, I love Conti, I love charcoal, I love gouache, which is generally like the watercolor type paint that you use for fashion illustration. I love all of that stuff, and makeup products are very, very similar to that. So I love product. I really, really love to buy stuff and play with it and like, you know, oh, this would be good with that, and kind of like figure out its best application. That's what I love the most about makeup, is like the actual product. You know, my history with beauty is very, very spotted because I suffer from eczema, and it was really, really bad my senior year in high school all throughout college, which is, I think, when generally you kind of do a lot of makeup experimentation. You got to figure out what works for you and what doesn't. I didn't really get a chance to do that, and when I got out of college, I started dabbling with it a little bit more, but I was always terrified that my eczema would come back. And my eczema was that disgusting eczema that was like pussy. It wasn't just dry and flaky, and if it got really bad, it would kind of bleed. Mine was like pussy, and it looked like I had like a growth and like scales on my skin. It was really terrible, and I had it on my upper lip, which is why I kind of stay away from matte lipsticks. At least I try to. It's like I have PTSD from it. And so after college, I would like, oh, like, look at this and look at this lipstick and let's try it. Like, this is the brand new thing. And I would try it, and then like I would kind of feel my skin start to like be weird, and so I kind of have to put it away. So I've always really been interested in beauty, but I haven't really been able to like go whole hog into makeup, I would say, until like the last 5 or 6 years. My skin has finally like calmed down and normalized and all those sorts of things. So that's sort of like my quick history with beauty. Do you have any kids and not plan on eventually having? I do not have any kids. I do not plan on having any kids. I'm 44, so if I wanted kids, I should get on it. But no, I don't. A lot of people seem to be curious about my collection. I'm trying to film a collection video, but because my drawer unit is in a corner, it is so hard to film. So I tried it 4 times now. over the past month, and I cannot seem to get the right angle. It just looks awful. I may just go with the last footage that I have, but I'm gonna do a collection video. So there's a bunch of questions about that. What famous woman in history or modern day do you admire the most and why? I really like Queen Elizabeth the First. The second, she's cool too, but I really like Queen Elizabeth the First. She is, she's awesome. She was like, for that time period and for all the bullshit she had to deal with, hardcore. Talk about hardcore. What relationship advice would you give your 17-year-old self? I don't know. I've always kind of been me. And you know, trust me, I have not always had it together, but when it came to guys, I've never ever been into like the bad boy or the guy that treated me poorly. I never got that. Never was into that. I always really liked like smart, nice men who treated me nicely and who were respectful. I never had a lot of drama with that. So the relationship advice would you give your 17-year-old self? Sleep around safely, but have fun. You know, I think so many people are just like out there looking for their husband or their significant other or their forever person, and they just, I don't know, they just forget to have fun. But yeah, that's probably the relationship I would give my 17-year-old self. Have a lot more meaningless sex. First of all, I love your channel. Thank you so much. You bring so much class and sophistication. If you only knew me. No, I'm kidding. What YouTube channels do you follow? Doesn't necessarily need to be beauty related channels. So, well, the one beauty related channel that it's like when she posts a new video, I drop everything. It's Tara Babies, TARABABYZ. She's that horse rancher from North Dakota, and she posts pretty much every Saturday evening, and she basically just does hauls. Every once in a while she'll post like I think her latest one was the Vizier palette, and she'll do a demo on that. Anyway, she's just awesome. I just love her. She's just like no holds bar makeup collector. That is her thing. That is her jam. Like, she doesn't need to justify her purchases. She's like, this is what I got this past week. It's very extensive. I love it. You know, she's committed. She's very committed. The non-beauty related channel that I'm obsessed with is Dr. Pimple Popper. Your skin looks so beautiful and flawless. Thank you. Would you consider sharing more of your daily skincare routine? I'm going to do a video on that because a lot of people have been asking. I will say this lighting, very bright lighting, is very, very helpful. So I want to do a skincare video in front of natural light and show you all the issues that I have, and et cetera, but talk about my skincare routine, which is fairly simple, but talk about skincare in general. So I'm going to do a video on that. Would you consider branching out into fashion? Oh, that's nice. Thank you. I probably would have, 10 years ago, when I was buying a lot more, before I bought makeup, I bought a lot of like shoes and handbags and clothing and jewelry and stuff. I just don't anymore. I work from home. I'm here all the time, like I told you about my normal day. So I'm wearing a t-shirt now. I'm basically like, I go from my pajamas to like sweats. Like I go from sleepy comfy clothes to like comfy clothes. So every once in a while I'll get like a handbag or a pair of shoes that I really like, but I just don't do it that often. But yeah, like whenever I do, I will. If you guys are interested in fashion stuff, I will definitely get into that more. What is the most inspirational thing you have ever been told that you carry with you? Have you guys ever seen or read the book The Hours? I think the movie was much more popular than the book, as it always is. But that's the one with Meryl Streep, Julianne Moore, and Nicole Kidman. Anyway, there's a scene where Meryl Streep is talking to her daughter, who's Claire Danes, and she's talking about happiness. She's reminiscing about this time many moons ago. She's standing there with Richard, I believe, and they're at a lake house, and they're standing out in front of the lake, and I think they were in a relationship at that point. And she said that at that point in her life, she remembers thinking that was the beginning of happiness, that she was like, oh, that this is what life is going to be like, and there's going to be so many more moments like this, and et cetera, and present day, she's saying that now she knows that happiness is that moment. It's not the promise of happiness to come, that happiness is in that moment. So that's definitely something that I believe in. That's something that I aspire to. I think there's so many people think that there's going to be something that's going to make them happy. When I get married, I'm going to be so happy. When I find my husband, I'm going to be so happy. When I get promoted, when I make X amount of money, when I get a dog. I mean, it could be anything. When I blah, blah, when I go here, when I go there, you know. But no, like, happiness is in your moment. In that moment, everyday life. Like, stupid things. Like, my dog does silly things and it just cracks me up because she's so funny. And I'm like, this is happiness. So I really believe in that, and I really carry that with me. What are your favorite places that you have traveled in the past, and 3 places on your bucket list? My favorite place I think I've gone so far is this little island off of Turks and Caicos. It's called Parrot Key, and they have a resort there or whatever. It is absolutely amazing. It's gorgeous. It's stunning. I mean, most of Turks and Caicos is really, really beautiful. I don't think you can go wrong on any of those islands. It's a whole chain of islands. But I love it. It was one of those vacations, and I've actually been there 3 times. That's how much I love it. But, you know, you go there and it's like nothing special. It's not like the hotel like lights up and has moving things or whatever. It's actually very, very simple. It's very Caribbean. There's a lot of like white washed things and white gauzy curtains and things like that. But it's the only vacation I've ever been on that by the end of that day that I got there, I felt completely relaxed. Because it usually takes a couple days to unwind, you know. It's like you wake up the next day and you're like, wow, I didn't realize how tired I was or whatever. And it takes a couple, you know, it takes a couple days. There, it's like within hours. Within hours, you're like, oh my God, like I don't remember my name. It's those vacations. Actually, my husband and I talk about this all the time. We want to go on those vacations where you get back to work and you can't remember your computer password. You sit down and you're like, I forget. That's a good vacation. So Parrot Key, Turks and Caicos. 3 places on my bucket list: Patagonia, the Amalfi Coast in Italy, and I don't know, like I've read about this and I'm not exactly sure where it is. I think it could be in Sweden. It actually could be in Iceland. But like an ice hotel where you go and you sleep under like bear fur, and they give you like a fur coat to hang out in, and the whole hotel is like made out of ice. That I want to try that. So those are the 3 places on my bucket list. What does your husband think about the Justice League movie franchise? Well, this could be a whole this could be a whole video. We're both really into superheroes. I just like action. My husband is actually really into mythology, and you know, superheroes today are basically like modern day mythology, so he's just really into that. We both love like the DC Comics animation. So like animated series or any of those animated movies that they've been coming out with, those are amazing. The DC Comic movies, like live action movies, like the ones with like Ben Affleck, are terrible. They're so awful. So we love the Marvel live action movies, like everyone else, you know, Iron Man and Thor and Black Panther now, I'm excited for that. But I don't like the Marvel animations that much. Anything about your job, what you eat, do you work out, yoga? Oh God. I do work out. I talk about Orange Theory. I do not like yoga at all. I can't even explain why I dislike yoga so much. Probably because I have very low anxiety. I have a very low heart rate. I feel like sometimes I'm narcoleptic. Seriously, if you leave me alone anywhere for too long, I'll go to sleep. I'll fall asleep. So yoga, I'm like, I can't move any slower. This makes me nuts. Which is why I think I like things like running and like HIIT interval boot camp type classes. Like that's my jam, because I'm like, oh, I feel like I'm alive, not like I'm slowly dying. What do I eat? I try and follow paleo, which is very meat based, which I know it's supposed to not be great for you or whatever, but it works for me. It makes me feel much better. I've tried vegetarian diets. I've even tried vegan a little while. It makes me feel terrible. Yeah, you just have to find what's right for you. Natasha Denona or Pat McGrath for eyeshadows? I don't know. Pat McGrath. I'm gonna say Pat McGrath. If you could only use one brand for the rest of your life, what would it be? Tom Ford. I would go with Tom Ford. So I think I'm gonna cut it off right there. Thank you all so much for asking questions. I was almost pretty positive. I was like, I'll probably get 1 or 2 questions and it's gonna be a really short video. But that was awesome. Thank you so much for asking questions and such good questions. Some of those were hard. Some of those were really hard, you guys. So that was awesome. Thank you so much. And thanks again for supporting this channel. Don't forget to enter the giveaway. Link is down below in the description box. And I will see you in my next video.